think we're on now. Good evening, everybody. Hope everybody hears me. Good evening. This is the February 10th, 2022 meeting of the Citizens Review Board of the City of Aiken, and we are coming to you in a virtual format. I'm going to indicate for the record that all of our members, thanks, are present with us this evening. We had received a proposed agenda, and I'm going to move to that point. Anyone have any desire to make any changes to the agenda? No. Okay, I'm going to move on to any committee reports that we have outstanding at the moment. Hearing none. We have some minutes. Everybody hopefully received the minutes. These were the minutes of our meeting of January 13. And everybody hopefully has a chance to review those. If they look acceptable, I'll entertain a motion to approve those minutes.
Move.
And a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Those minutes have been approved. Next thing, in accordance with our bylaws, is the election of officers. I thank again Mike Beckner for chairing that committee that put together a slate. We did not have any additional nominations other than the proposed slate. Again, for the record, I've been asked to continue as chairman. Carmen Landy has agreed to continue as vice chair, and Jody Dugan has agreed to be our secretary. And I guess at this point, a motion to be made to approve those officers for the coming year.
Mr. Chairman.
Yes.
And Dix, I move that we approve the 2022 slate of officers by acclamation.
Thank you.
Second.
Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Let me start with indicating I want to thank Katina. She's going to be with us for a number more years, but I want to thank her for being our secretary for forever. And not an easy job. When I appreciate when she's juggling a lot of things. And so thank you, Katina, for your service as secretary. And again, we hope you'll be with us for quite a long time still.
Thank you.
And Jody and Carmen and Jody, thank you for your willingness to stay on, and Jody coming on as secretary, Carmen to continue as a vice chair. Other than that, I think what I will be doing is at some point near future, I'll review and send out some proposed committee assignments, panel assignments. If anybody has some issues with any of those, please let me know. You know, we could certainly make some changes to those. I did think we've always had this bylaw committee, and I thought we just did the bylaws. We did a very good job bringing them up to date. I think we all voted that in October. I don't sense, unless somebody disagrees, to have a bylaw committee. If we find the need to make some changes, we could do an ad hoc committee, and probably some members might even be willing to volunteer to join that committee. But I don't know the sense to just to have a bylaw committee and there isn't anything. So I don't know if anybody have any questions or issues.
You could even do it as a committee of the whole, honestly.
Yeah.
We're such a small group.
I agree. So I won't be assigning anybody to a bylaw committee. I know Annie particular had asked not to stay on bylaw committee. She'd been on it, I think, a couple times. So I will likely do that.
Mr. Chair?
Yes.
I'd just like to point out, and I haven't looked at it specifically, but just as long as it's not explicitly named in the bylaws that we have a bylaw committee,
Right.
then I'm okay with not having one.
Okay, thank you. I'll look and see if there is. I don't know if there was any specific committees in our bylaws, but I will look at that. If there is, we'll name everybody.
And that's fine too.
We'll name everybody to that. All right, that's really all I have. To say, I guess while I have it, since we're kind of jumping around a little bit, we did get two fully completed cases. One of them, I think, has about 27 pages. And they came a couple days ago, and I just didn't think it was appropriate for us to try to review these carefully and look at any video and be prepared to discuss them tonight. So they would be reviewed at our March meeting. We've got another one out there that is just still in the works to be completed, so it might come to us.
John, is there video from either of those complaints that we
I
can?
don't know that. And Carl, if there is any video, Carl will get them to us. And we've also indicated, we were discussing before our meeting started, Carl tends to review these videos, and if there's any issues with an officer in pursuit of somebody or a lot of motion that we're having difficulties, Gary has indicated that he could work with Carl to try to stabilize that as best they could. And hopefully when we do get the videos, I think Carl has worked with the IT folks, and we're going to have an easier time opening them up. We've had some issues with that. And so I think that will be remedied with our next cases. That's really all my comments. Any old business to come before this board?
I'm just wondering whether the mayor has said anything back to you about replacing Jeffrey.
No, he's aware of it. I've run into Stuart from time to time. Mayor's aware of it, and no, and I've mentioned to the mayor certainly to reach out to anybody on the board if they have somebody in mind. If any of you do have somebody that you think would be a good person, please communicate that to the mayor. But that's why, by the way, many of you, your terms technically run out at the end of this year, but I think you'll be on this board until you no longer want to be on the board, because the process tends to take a long, long time. And but mayor's aware of it, and that's all I can say. I haven't heard anything. I mentioned to him and to Stuart, as I said, to ask any one of our members for any suggestions that he consider. So I don't know where else that stands. All right, that's any new business to come before the board?
Judge,
Yes.
you talk about duration of tenure. The last time I volunteered for something for everybody's benefit, I wound up in the Navy for 20 years. So y'all
Well, can you do that again, Clark?
strap yourself in, Jody.
Well said. Okay.
Is
Anybody else?
Carl, go ahead.
Yes, I just want to say on the video, I've got everything straightened out with IT today as far as everything that comes out now will be in that MP4 format. So everyone should be able to open it no matter what software you have. Shouldn't be any issues. I double checked some things today with the sound as well as the video quality. Looked to be pretty good. This next case you're getting is a very involved case. So what I'll probably do is normally I'd send it out closer to the meeting date so that it'd be fresh in people's mind. But this one is a little more involved. There's a lot of pieces to this one as far as being able to see exactly what happened and following this case through. So I'm going to send it out early, and then I'll send it out once again as we get closer to the meeting. But that'll give you a longer period of time to view it and to develop questions or whatever you need on that. But I want you to have a little more time to look at this one, because it is not just a matter of popping in a 5-minute video and seeing something. This one has got a lot of elements to it.
That's the one that has about 27 pages or more.
That's the one.
Okay.
It is.
So that would be the third case then, because you've already sent us two. So this would be the third case.
No, that's the one that has the 27 pages there. I don't remember which one it was.
Oh, okay.
Right,
There's
Carl?
actually, I think there's 2 cases that are pending that
Right.
that are completed, and there's one that just got sent out that they're investigating.
Yeah, I have two that came to me fully completed. I think Carmen got them, and I've sent them out to everybody. One of them I printed out. It was, as I said, it's about 27 pages. So I think that's what you're referring to.
Right.
It's quite lengthy.
Get all that. I'm gonna get that video, and I'll get that out as soon as I can, because like I said, there's a lot of video to that one, because there's just a lot to that one.
Yeah, I have, Carl, I have another case that was brought to my attention back in November. we, to my knowledge, never saw any completion on that. And I don't know if the citizen withdrew their complaint. So I'm going to send you an email with that case number. Perhaps if you could check in with the public.
I know there was one where they withdrew. They didn't realize it was a formal complaint that they were making. They were just trying to make the department aware. So once they started investigating it, they still investigated it, but it wasn't there was no official complaint made. They withdrew their complaint.
Okay. The other
Before
question I have, Carl, we get video, we get a full complete workup of the case. The citizen who files the complaint will certainly, sometimes they both get a phone call, but they also get that basically form letter that we all receive. Do all of those citizens have the opportunity to come in and look through that entire report that we get, as well as all the video?
I think that if I'm not, I can't say for certain, but my understanding of it is that when they call them up and talk to them on the phone, they are open to discussion on anything, any part of the case that, if they want to discuss a particular element, they'll discuss that with them.
Well, the letter that we got a copy of. I believe that letter is mailed to the complainant at whatever address they have.
Correct. That's in addition to the phone call they received.
Right. But you can correct me if I'm wrong. My understanding from Chief has said in the past, any of these folks are entitled to come in and they can look over that complete report that we get, that complete workup, and look over any video that we also had the opportunity to review. Was that your understanding?
That's my understanding, but I could clarify that on Monday.
Okay. I just thought about that. And sometimes a short little letter, people may not, if they have the opportunities, I don't know if they all do, but they know they could come in and sit down and look over all the video and look over all the reports that we saw that, brought about the conclusion that the department made. So that was the only observation I made. All right. Anything else to come before any other business? Anybody wishes? Yes, Mike.
Yeah, just a quick question. Would it be helpful to the mayor if we maybe made suggestions as to what part of our demographic here in Aiken might be underrepresented on our group, or make individual suggestions as to a new member, or would that be seen as unhelpful, or do we even want to go down that road?
Well, we had an opportunity, Mike, you and I, to meet with the mayor and Stuart Biedenbaum a while back. I know we talked a little bit about perhaps a younger member, and mayor didn't seem to feel that was what was needed here. Each of you can do as you wish to communicate with the mayor. I certainly would encourage you, though, to you might know some people that would be a great addition to the board, and make sure that person is interested before you send their name in, of course. But you could do that. You could, if you want to communicate with the mayor and put forth a name, that would be fine. But we talked about that before, I know, and he was very pleased with the composition of what he had here. So, but any of you have anybody in mind, that'd be helpful, because I don't know how much time he spends on this. I think we talked about this a year or so ago. I think Annie said her recollection, some people have been on these boards for years and their terms have run out a long time ago. So, as I say, that's why the bylaws were written, that says, what our terms are, but we remain in our positions until such time as a replacement is named and approved and all that. So it could be a while. So, okay.
Mr. Chair, I'd like to make a suggestion that we do an annual, we already do an annual report to the mayor and the council. I think including the demographics of the present board might be a great way to help demonstrate what's missing. Just in case us telling him what's missing doesn't make sense. If we're able to say to him, say to them that this is what we have present on the board, they may be able to see the gaps as well.
Yeah.
in our annual report. I think it's just a good standard thing to do,
Yeah.
that this is what we look like now.
Actually, I haven't, I did one a couple of years ago. It's been a
Mhm.
while. I think the COVID situation
Yeah, I
derailed
just
it.
think it would be good to have it as a standard portion of our report.
Yeah, and include the demographics of the board and so forth, yeah. Um, Do we want to indicate, if we do another report, that we do have, by virtue of the bylaws, a number of the members who have their term is coming up? Because this is the mayor's decision, though. The way this was set up, I think the mayor makes these appointments. Yeah, I that's a good point. I think what I would prefer to do before I put forth that is maybe ask the mayor, do we leave that understanding to him, or do you think we should put it in the annual report? I don't think it's a problem putting the annual report. We have a good cross section of people from the city of Aiken on the board. Yeah, I don't know if I'd suggest in the report that he might want to consider this and that. I think I'd rather do that one-on-one with him. And any one of you could communicate that to him. You could do it certainly by email. He's not an easy guy to catch up with. So, but
Well, and that's why I was making the suggestion that I made, which is that we don't necessarily tell him what he needs to do, but that we just present the facts. And we can have a conversation one-on-one about how we think he should fix that.
Yeah.
But definitely making that a point.
All right.
To say this is who you've appointed and this is who sits on the board currently.
All right, thank you.
I like that idea. I like that idea, Carmen.
Yeah, it's not confrontational, it's just
Right.
facts.
I think what I might do, I may play around with something, and I may enlist the input from all of you on that report before we were to submit it. Somebody wants to contribute to the language and so forth. But yeah, we can certainly do that. And
Now, I don't know how you measured the level of cute on the board. So you might have to come up with a scale to see how you can figure out how cute all the people are. That's definitely a score that we need to report.
it's always good to have a board that everybody works together with the same goals and
Right.
objectives. Yeah. I know James mentioned a couple of years ago that he knows a lot of people that would like to be on the board, and there's a lot of people he would not want to be on the board. So,
Amen. Amen.
all right.
No names, James.
Yeah.
I promise. I promise.
All right. Is there anything else, any other new business to come before?
Do we have any idea at this point how we're going to meet in March?
I would guess right now, right where we are. How about you?
I'm sort of torn. This is so easy and I enjoy doing it, but I think at some point we need to all be together in the same room. I know that cases are going way down here now. I don't know what they'll be like in a month, but something to think about anyway.
Yeah,
We'll wait and see. I'm ready to get back together too, but it's a wait and see.
Yeah, we'll see right now. Yeah, we'll see. Sometimes we have a couple of cases, that certainly is different. If you have no cases, it takes you longer to get to the meeting than to run the meeting.
Right. And next time
Agreed.
we obviously are going to have 2 cases. So
Yeah.
something to think about.
All right. Well, I don't want to dictate to this board. I may poll the board as we towards the end of the month and see what everybody's feeling is. We have 2 or 3 members that work, and I appreciate those challenges they have,
Right.
juggling work time and so forth. And quite frankly, they may not be able to participate all the time if we were to meet in person versus the virtual, not knowing.
Well, I'm also wondering if there's a chance for a hybrid meeting, if there's a way to work that out, Carl. I have no idea. If we could be, in the room and have a screen or something where people could be virtual if they had to. I don't know whether that would work.
I think
That's something we could definitely talk to Gary about. Gary would definitely be able to answer that one.
I've asked that question to Mary Catherine because the city, at some point in March, is going to be officially moving into their new headquarters, and she claims with the council chambers would be able to do that. that some members who can't be present can participate by video and the others could be present. So we can continue to do that. Quite frankly, not certain, but there's a possibility if we do meet, we may be meeting in the new building in March.
Yeah.
So.
And it has parking.
Huh?
It
Well-
has parking.
Yeah, parking and probably a little
Yes.
little easier. to
So
get,
if I can just chime in on the, so in the current chamber, a hybrid meeting would not be possible. However, a hybrid meeting could be possible if you met in room 204.
Mhm.
So if you had 4 of the 10 or 5 of the body in 204 spaced out, I guess, we could actually work that out. But with the chamber and the speakers in the ceiling causing feedback into the audio, that system is not really set up to offset the audio feedback.
Okay.
But you very well can do that in room 204.
Gary, am I correct? The new headquarters, the new council chambers will allow folks to be, both virtual as well as in person?
That is one of my mandates to the people that are doing the install. So yes, I mean, because I was asked that question numerous times after the pandemic started. It was a new territory for us because we're working with equipment that's older than my 97-year-old mother. And so, but
That's old.
Yeah, that's pretty old. And so anyway, that was one of the requirements that I emphasized. So I won't know what we can actually do, to be honest. We're saying it in a positive way, but until the equipment actually gets in there, I can't say for sure.
Yeah. And likely they're just moving in March and everything might not be running smoothly at that moment. So a lot of stuff going on in that building. So.
Well, we pray for March.
Yeah, that's what it is. I'm told the furniture, all the things that are supposed to be coming have been delayed because of all the issues right now with stream of commerce and so forth. So.
Yes, the furniture is somewhere off the coast of probably Savannah or maybe even still in China. I don't know.
Yeah. All right.
But it's coming.
Anything else from the members? Thank you for, yes.
Yeah, I have a suggestion now that we're talking about whether we're going to meet in person, hybrid, or stay completely in Zoom. Since we are under our 1 hour time frame that we have here, is that if everybody would put in the chat directed to you, John, what they prefer, and then we will know.
That's fine. And I guess majority would, yeah. Well, I'll communicate with all of you probably at the end of the month, so we have time to know whether we're going to have the meeting in person or not, to see what the majority wishes to do. Obviously, if we had no cases, then, well, I hope if we have no cases and no business, then I personally think your time can be more valuable than to sit here and say hi and that's it. If we have cases or we have business, right now we do have a couple of cases, and there's likely at least one other case will be completed as well. But we do have a couple months, and again, these aren't bad things. As the chief says, we make the officers do a better job because of our existence, and the fact that these cases have dropped substantially over the last few years, I think is a good thing. Okay, anything else to come before the board? With that, I'll ask for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
No move.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, everybody stay well, and we'll all keep in touch. Thank you again for being with us tonight.
Happy Valentine's